Okay, I admit it. I like being right, and this is just one of those times where I'm very right. And this game that so many PlayStation fanboys, honestly, were just all up in arms with being so great, and it was a Game of the Year nominee, and it was going to be, it was an exclusive, and all this kind of stuff. It's so funny to see when this stuff kind of happens because people just honestly don't believe it. And then when it does happen, people are like, oh my gosh, well, I didn't like that game anyway. So to me, it is hilarious to see when this kind of stuff happens and the backtracking and all that stuff that goes on. And hopefully we continue to see more of that because it looks like another game is actually going to be coming from the PlayStation exclusive library very soon. That one also that was heavily looked at as a great game and maybe even Game of the Year contender. So yeah, very cool to see that. And you know what? Microsoft has a lot to be thankful for. They've got a lot to be grateful for. Xbox owners have a lot to be thankful for because there's just so much cool stuff going on right now. And when you see stuff like this, you just have to kind of applaud it and say, hey, good job, Microsoft. You guys have come a long way. In the past, they probably wouldn't even have got this game at all because they had a deal where if they didn't get a game, day and date or first, that they wouldn't get it. So yeah, nice to see that they've kind of went back on that. And Sony looks to be losing Stray, which has been a highly rated Game of the Year contender for them. The critically acclaimed cat adventure game was a PlayStation console exclusive. As originally spotted before, the game is listed as one of the most recent ratings on the ESRB site and lists Xbox One, Xbox Series as formats. This suggests an announcement for an Xbox version of the game is very intimate. Published by Annapurna Interactive and developed by a small French studio, Blue 12, Stray was critically acclaimed when it released on the PS4, PS5 in July of 2022. The game has players taking control of a stray cat in a post-apocalyptic world after falling down into a hole into a walled city. The cat has to find its way back to the surface while also interacting with the city's robotic residents. When it launched, Stray comfortably became Annapurna's biggest release. Again, Stray would go on to become the second highest rated Steam game on Steam in 2022, behind only Vampire Survivors. It's also been nominated for numerous awards and won a number of them too, including Best Debut at the Game Developers Choice Awards and Best Independent Game and Best Debut Indie Game at the Game Awards in 2022. According to this, their Stray review also called it one of their best releases to date, a masterclass in environmental design with one of the most engrossingly detailed game worlds that they've ever explored. Like its protagonist, it's a little on the short side, but what's here will stay with you for a long time. So again, this is one of those games where everybody was talking about it. Graphically, it looks really good. I guess it had some performance issues on the PS5. Hopefully those would be worked out before they come to Xbox Series X. And who knows, with it being that it's the ESRB soon, it could be a situation where we get this on Game Pass or something like that. You have to remember that the game launched into PlayStation Plus when it did launch. So not the regular PlayStation Plus, but the Plus version, I think, or the 4.3 version pluses. I don't remember which one exactly, but launch it into Game Pass for a game like this seems like a very smart move for them to do. And a lot of people were interested in this game. I'm not so much interested in it, but just one of those things that kind of just goes to show you that, hey, all of these games, and this is why when I talk about first party stuff and people go, well, why do you just talk about first party stuff? Why do you want to, why not third party? Well, look at all the third party exclusives that we're getting. You know what I mean? So again, this is so funny to me because I always say that these third-party games that are, these games are so weird because they're usually smaller developers and they're developers that, they can only work on one version of a game at a time. So they will work on one, put one out, then work on the other. This happens all the time. It happens with Xbox too. They did that with Tunic, right? A lot of games are like that. They'll come out on Xbox first, and then they'll come out on PlayStation later, or they'll come out on PlayStation first and then come out on Xbox later. It honestly doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. So, again, this has been crazy, and I say it not it's isn't it better? Yeah, like I have no problem with this being a multi-plat game. I'm all for it. Like I said though, I wish people would stop using these games for the list wars. If you're going to list war, then list war with the exclusive stuff, the first party stuff. That's the stuff that stays first party, and we'll continue to see kind of work on this kind of stuff. But yeah, so it's basically nice to see that Xbox fans are going to be able to play a game that is basically a Game of the Year candidate, and you know, a really well put together game, and fans should be excited for that going forward. There's also rumblings of Kena Bridge of Spirits possibly coming to Xbox soon too. That's another one that I said that's actually a pretty good game, and I've played that one before, and so yeah, it would be really cool to see that come to Xbox. Pretty damn good game, great graphics, like Pixar style or whatever. Nice to see that some of these games are kind of making that full loop around to Xbox as well. And again, it's not just that it happens on that side. Like, I fully expect High on Life, which is exclusive on Xbox right now, to go to PlayStation at some point. And I expect, you know, like Stalker 2, that'll go to PlayStation at some point. It's just the way it is. That's why I don't count the Warhammer. You know, I don't count these you know, Vampire Survivors. They'll all go to PlayStation, and it's not a big deal. I never use those things. If I'm talking about, you know, first party, it's first party, man. It's like, for better or worse, it's Redfall and Forza Motorsport and Starfield and Hellblade 2 and Hi-Fi Rush and, you know, Forza Horizon 5. It's like, for better or worse, it's always going to be first party. And, you know, in a year where Sony's first party has been, let's just say, less than stellar, I think it really goes all out to show that Microsoft knows exactly what they're doing, and they have a really good lineup planned, you know, and nobody can kind of deny that they've got a much better lineup this year, first party wise, than Sony. Just like in 2021, their lineup was much better, with like Psychonauts 2, Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, Flight Simulator, Age of Empires. Like, this year even tops that, and especially if they can get Hellblade 2 out at the end of the year. What a phenomenal year that would end up being, right? Age of Empires 4, Age of Empires 2 remake. You also have Hi-Fi Rush, Minecraft Legends, Redfall. Even though it didn't score really well, it was a fun game. You know, good to see that the game actually went out there and did some pretty cool stuff. You know, so yeah, nice to see that they're kind of going all in on these type of games, and that Xbox is getting them. I would say this is a steal. You know, one of these games that, like, let's just be real, 2022 was a good year for PlayStation. You know, they had 3 big new first party releases, but it wasn't what I'd consider like a phenomenal year or anything like that. But everybody was using this game to pad the list because they're list wars, and that takes me back to the old days with the PS4 when they had really sparse lineup of games and people were counting everything from Godzilla to you know, Tropico. You know, it's just like crazy to kind of do that, but yeah, things are starting to even out now. We're starting to see some of these good games that are starting to come to Xbox as well. Nice to see that. Are you guys excited? Are you going to give this game a try? Are you going to wait to see if it comes into Game Pass? Or are you going to pick it up? I personally think it probably will come to Game Pass, and they'll announce it maybe at the Summer Game Fest or something. I don't know. Could be. We'll see. But let me know what you guys think. I'll link this. Rack 'em up. I'm Crab Gamer. This is Crab Gamer Reviews. Crab Gamer out.